We're talking about phones today. We're talking about cold calls. And if you want to see what Grant does on cold calls, there's videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's actually doing it. So, you have
and
that
I'm doing
affinity,
it now. I'm not
right?
talking about something I did 20 years ago. I took a phone call 4 days ago on the phone. I know what's going on that phone call. And the point about the interesting educator, okay, is how do you stay interesting? Forget making every educator you ever had wrong, or your mom, your dad, your uncle, whatever. How do you stay interesting so you actually set hooks in people to where they want to stop whatever they were doing and say, this cat's different on the phone.
And so you have to be different, right? Because in most cases, they're literally just putting down the phone from the cat before you that was trying to sell them something too. So if you can't be interesting and you can't follow some of the simple, most basic, fundamental things about a cold call that we're going to discuss today, you're going to run into some roadblocks. And so that's why we're here today.
So Jared, where do we want to start here?
Well, so we're talking about cold calls today, right? Because
yeah.
we're talking about phones on Tuesday. I mean, how many cold calls do you think you made in your life?
Well, I can tell you the first company I was making cold calls door to door. And after I did El Paso, Albuquerque, San Antonio, Fort Lauderdale. I was 30 years old. I'm flying to a city and I'm cold calling. And I came back and I'm like, okay, I can't do it like that anymore. I was cold calling door to door, right? So what I would do is I would spend 3 to 5 days before I would go to a city. I made a shift in my methodology, in my cardonology. I didn't know what I was doing, man, but I knew this. I was committed. So the problem is it was taking so much time and so much money to fly to Fort Lauderdale, to rent a car, to get out of the airport, to find, this is before global maps and Google Maps.
This is when you had a Thomas Brothers.
And to buy a list and to go contact the guy and to walk in and find out he wasn't even there. I had to learn how to use a phone to set up that city before I got to that city. When we come back, I'm going to show you exactly what I did to make all the cake in the universe.
Money.
So check it out. Always leave a message, regardless of the fact that it's not going to be returned. And you need to leave a message from the phone call you called from, okay? So if I'm calling from a landline, do not leave your cell phone as the number to call back to. It's confusing to people. Wait, I see caller ID. See how technology's changed everything?
Yeah.
I got caller ID that says you're calling from a 0777 number, and you're telling me to write down a 5348 number. It's just too much work for me. So
Confusing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
There's already enough stuff to remember.
Go ahead.
So let's see. Jesper J, GC, and JG about to start a business and start cold calling. Would it be a waste to contact the biggest prospects first, or should I start with the small fish? Dude, you know what I said? I said,
look, I know this. When you go fishing, you don't really have a choice, okay? I grew up in Southwest Louisiana. You go fishing, you take whatever you get, okay?
Right.
You get some red snapper. You get some big fish.
you get some crawdads.
You get some catfish. Sometimes you just get some freaking mud slimers, okay? Sometimes you get, what was the thing that bottom fed? Mullets. Sometimes you just get a mullet. Sometimes you just got to be proud getting whatever you got. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to start a business and think, I'm just going after this or that, you're going to starve. You need it all. Okay. People ask me, I was in San Antonio. We did 7 meetings in one day. Couldn't get to the 8th meeting. 7 meetings in one day. And a guy looked at me and says, man, I got to ask you a question. Dude, why you hustle like this? Why are you still doing this deal? I'm like,
man, you're hustling like you're broke.
Yeah. I said, bro, I'm going to keep struggling. I'm going to keep hustling until I don't have to struggle the way I'm living life right now, okay? I know I'm a slave. I'm like a slave right now being whipped on the back, right? Go. Why? Because I need the little feed, I need the medium size, and I need the big deals. They all come together. One day I'm talking to a guy about a $30 book, $49 product. Next thing you know, I'm dropping in on a guy at $1.5 million. But I want to give you guys 3 things to think with while you add the questions and comments at whatever it takes. 3 things you need to know about a phone. Well, first of all, the 4 things. Okay, number 1, you can make more money on a telephone than any other single way in the world. The phone is more powerful than the internet and social media combined.
They're trying to push away from it.
Yeah,
right. Like you could sell over social media. I mean, you can.
I'm gonna tell you, if you came to me and said, Grant, if God came to me, hey, young man, you young cursor,
Grant, this is God.
Young man, you have situation. God's got to be Chinese,
right?
It's the most ancient, right? So, hey, God says, Grant, I am about to remove the telephone, the internet, or social media. Which one would you like to keep? Give me that phone, brother. Brother man, give me the phone.
Come on,
You know,
God.
why? Because that phone
Make the right decision.
Now, clearly, if the internet and social media went down, the phone might not even work anymore. I don't
Well, you
know,
just
but
go back to the phone book, man.
the point is this, okay? Look, you need to be committed that the phone is a way to contact more people. It's actually 8 times cheaper for me to call somebody than to go see somebody. 8 times cheaper.
Sales Hustler says that the phone is the most that made Apple the most successful company ever.
Yeah, totally. Okay, there's more phones on planet Earth than there are people on planet Earth. There's 1 trillion, almost 1 trillion phone calls made in just the United States of America every year. 1 trillion. Wow. Look, I can't use the internet and talk to somebody. I can't use Facebook to qualify somebody quickly with a decision maker because let's face it, the owners of companies are not on Facebook. They're not. Okay? It's the players in the organization that are playing on Facebook. 3 things in addition to being sold on the phone. Words matter. How you say something or the words you say matter. Number 2, time is going to kill you. It's going to kill you on a phone call. It used to be the longer you could spend with somebody, the better off you are. Because they just got a telephone. That was freaking 100 years ago. They couldn't wait to play on their phone. Oh, yeah. Today, it's like, don't even call me, text me. So you got to catch up with the times, folks.
And then number 3,
voice, baby.
Voice inflection and tone.
Did you hear what I just said?
What?
Voice inflection. I know people. I've met people. I mean, freaking master salespeople. They could tell you to F off, and you would actually be like, wow, thank you so much. Other people give you a compliment. I'm not being critical. I'm not being negative. You ever heard somebody say that? You know, I'm not being negative. What's the next word? But. Yeah, but you an ass. Okay. All right. So look, 3 things. Words matter. You got to get it handled. Time is going to kill your deals. You got to get on that call and off that call quick and set a bunch of hooks. So people are like, that cat is different. Qualify. Do you guys know what that means to qualify on the phone? Hey, are you the decision maker? If I had something that did exactly what I just told you it would do, listen to the voice, the tone,
you
the
have
confidence,
to,
the attitude.
Yeah, you have to
If I had
an art.
something that did everything that I just said it would do, are you the decision maker or would you have somebody else involved? You have to know that. If you don't know that, you're freaking sitting there having a conversation with the wrong person.
And there's a way to ask the question without making the person on the other end of the phone feel
like these guys were watching me on the phone the other day. We were recording. And I had a guy on the phone and I'm like, look, there's only two reasons someone wouldn't do this. Either number 1, you're not the decision maker, or number 2, you don't think they're going to use it. That's it. It's the only 2 reasons. Why was I doing that? The sales guys, why'd you say that to him? It's only 2 reasons you're not going to do it. First of all, I'm telling you, you're an idiot if you don't close. That's how I got away with that. You're freaking stupid, and or you're not the decision maker, or you're not in control because you can't get your people to use the product. That's the only 2 reasons you're not going to do the deal. So what am I doing right there? I'm using voice, tone, inflection, attitude. I'm using words to mold and to find out, do I even have a decision maker here? And I'm selling my product.
So look, cold calls, they'll make or break you, man. They'll make you business. They'll make you successful. I know they did a wondrous thing for this man here. I'm trying to follow along in his footsteps. But look, 3 things you have to understand about a cold call. 1, your words matter. Dude, if it doesn't get you closer to the sale, it gets you further away from it. Time is a killer of all deals. People want information in a really short
Fast,
period
man.
of time.
You got to get on, find out if you had the decision maker, find out what the problem is, and let them know you can solve that problem, set hooks. Find out if you have that decision maker. Can you get an appointment with them? Get off that phone call, okay? And then lock that appointment up. That's 2 minutes. I guarantee you most of you cannot even tell me your presentation in 2 minutes. You'll spend 2 minutes rattling on and on. Hey, my name's Grant. Like, let me tell you one major mistake people make. Building rapport at the beginning of a call is a major mistake today. How's things going?
How's the weather where you are?
Who cares, dude? Is this the weather report? Are we doing what was that cat's name?
Who's your
in Lake
favorite
Charles?
baseball
Robin?
team?
Robin what? I remember his name. He was the weather guy. I know people that are so scared of a telephone. I'm like, why are you so scared of it? Oh, I don't know. Look, you're not trained. You're not educated, okay? And by the way, if you're scared to use it, that might be indicating to you something. That's where your real growth is. Because I can get to so many people. Let's say I drop Jared off in San Antonio. First of all, he's got to get from Miami to San Antonio. In the amount of time it would take him just to get there, how many phone calls could I make to San Antonio? See, if you really understood the power of a phone, you'd be on it all day long. I mean, it'd be what you'd be doing all day long to get your brand out, your market out, to set hooks, to create interest, to create urgency, to determine decision makers. Look, you can't just buy a list. Everybody's trying to buy their way to success. You can't buy it. You got to work your way there, all right? Because you know those first 20 seconds are everything. It's the make or break moment. And I'm going to tell you, there's so many mistakes people make in that first. Hey, for instance, I'll just give you one simple mistake. Never use your first and your last name in the opening, ever. In fact, you could probably get away with not using any part of your name. Because when somebody picks up the phone, they're not thinking about, well, who is this on the phone? What they want to know is why you're calling. Because I could literally call myself anything at this point. ABC, Bob, Grant, John, Jared, Julie.
Waffles.
Okay, I could call myself anything. They're going to forget it. I mean, unless I'm Kanye, or I'm Donald Trump. That'd be the only time that you'd want to use a phone. And in that case, you're probably having somebody else make that phone call to you, set up an appointment. Mr. Trump wants to talk to you. He might run for president again, which is completely ridiculous, okay? So what are we talking about? Real quick, though, I want to remind everybody what we're talking about. Words matter. What are you saying that matters? Oh, man, that's a problem. We can't do that. That's not possible. Call me back. I don't know. These are just a few examples of things that'll be like complete turnoffs. In addition to but, the word but means you're about to basically undo everything this person just said they weren't going to say. Okay, Number two.
This is one page, by the way. This is one page of the ebook.
This is the ebook.
This is one page of it. There are 18 mistakes. If you make one of these mistakes on a cold call,
you're going to blow the call.
You're going to blow the call. You get hung
That's
up
why
on.
you guys hate the call, because you never mastered the call. Okay, you play. You're amateurs. You're not pedophiles, but. What are they? What's that thing that when you're daffodils? What are they called? Dilettantes. Dilettantes is an amateur.
I like daffodils better.
So look, I'm not giving up on my strategy. My strategy works, okay? It's the strategy that your parents taught you. Don't persist, don't push, don't be a nuisance, don't bother people. None of that's working, man. Look, if you want to be the president of the United States, you got to get half the country to hate your guts. All right? Hillary's already there.
Yep.
Okay? So otherwise, we wouldn't be able to call her by our one name. Do people know your one name? Because if you're still having to go by two names, man, ain't nobody knows you.
J-Rod.
Yeah. And by the way, success is not a popularity contest. You are no longer a junior in high school looking for everybody to like you. Now, the bigger question is, what message do you leave? What hooks do you set? Do you get their attention? And also, do you spend too much time with people that can't buy, won't buy, and aren't interested in your product? All right? By the way, you guys don't underestimate that person at the gatekeeper.
Influencer.
Okay? Look, I know gatekeepers. First of all, some of you guys try to sell me stuff. Y'all don't even talk to my wife or Sherry. You can't win Sherry. You're not selling me because I'm never going to know you exist. Or if I do, because you want to go around Sherry and you want to use Facebook and like, oh, your people are like I had a guy send me an email today. I said, look, you need to talk to Sherry about the phone thing. I said, we're interested. We will buy a new phone system. I hate the phone system we have right now. What is it?
I've got no clue, and if I did, I'd tell everybody.
Yeah, I would tell everybody not to ever purchase it. Maybe Sherry can tell me what the phone system is, because I'd like to ruin their business, because they're ruining mine, okay? So I tell the guy, we're a buyer for a new phone system. You need to talk to Sherry. He emails me back. Can Sherry make a decision on a phone purchase? I'm like, dude, that's stupid. I'm telling you, I'm not looking at it unless she looks at it. And then he tries to come around. I'm like, don't do that. It's not cool. Because then Sherry's going to say what? Man, I don't want to do business with these people. So you got to figure out that gatekeeper, because the guy from Toronto was calling her a bitch. You got to change the way you think about that person. Because if you're approaching the person as a bitch, whatever that means,
the only person that's going to be a bitch is you when you don't get that deal,
because
son.
It's going to come through in your tone and your voice inflection and your attitude and your words and everything.